Good day, good day, good day, and welcome back to Celebrity Watchgist, the only place on the internet where the royal drama hits harder than a crown falling off a head at full speed. Buckle up, because what we are about to unpack today is so juicy, so layered, and so absolutely unhinged that even Shakespeare himself would put down his quill and say, "Okay, I could never." We are talking about Prince Harry, yes, the Duke of Sussex himself, reportedly making what insiders are calling the ultimate power play, a calculated, high-stakes gamble centered around Sandringham, the royal family's beloved Norfolk estate. And the goal? To somehow, some way, pull Meghan Markle back into the British royal fold. Let that sink in for a second. The man who packed up his wife, his kids, his Netflix deal, and his wounded feelings and moved to Montecito, California, is allegedly angling to rewrite the ending of the story he already walked out of. This is either the boldest move in royal history or the most spectacular backfire waiting to happen. Quick favor before we dive in. If you are loving this kind of content, hit that subscribe button right now. Over 92% of viewers have not subscribed yet. It is completely free, takes about a second, and it means the absolute world to us here at Celebrity Watchgist. Thanks so much if you did that. Now, back to the show. So, let us set the scene. Sandringham. For those who do not know, Sandringham is not just a house. It is not just an estate. It is the royal family's 20,000-acre crown jewel of tradition, privacy, and old money British energy. It is where the royals gather for Christmas, where Charles retreats to think big thoughts, and where the weight of centuries of monarchy just kind of hangs in the air like expensive perfume. Bringing Meghan back to Sandringham, even symbolically, would be like trying to reunite oil and water and then dressing them both in matching tiaras. It sounds impossible, and yet, here we are, talking about it like it might actually be happening. Now let's talk about Harry's angle, because this man has always had one. According to sources close to the situation, Harry has been working behind the scenes, very behind the scenes, to position himself as the bridge between Meghan and the royal family. Think about that. The guy who wrote a whole memoir airing out royal grievances, who went on television with Oprah and essentially lit the palace on fire with his words, now wants to be the peacemaker? That is not just bold. That is the kind of audacity that deserves its own Netflix series. Oh, wait. But here's where it gets interesting, and we mean really interesting. The Sandringham angle is not random. Sources suggest Harry knows that Sandringham holds emotional weight for King Charles. It's Charles's turf, his comfort zone, his place of power. By pushing for some kind of reconciliation rooted in that space, Harry may be banking on his father's well-documented desire for family unity. Charles, despite everything, has reportedly never fully closed the door on his son, and Harry knows it. He's not just playing chess here, he's playing three-dimensional chess on a board that most people can't even see. Meanwhile, Meghan, queen of composure, master of the narrative, is reportedly not exactly rushing to pack her bags for England. And honestly, can you blame her? The last time Meghan stepped into the full royal machine, it did not go well. The tabloids had a field day, the institution kept its distance, and Meghan has said publicly that she felt profoundly unsupported. So the idea that she would willingly walk back into that dynamic without ironclad guarantees, that is a hard sell, even for a man as persistent as Harry. And this brings us to the real tension at the heart of this story. Harry and Meghan are not just a couple dealing with a difficult family, they are a brand. They are a media empire. They are two people who have built an entirely new identity away from the crown, and every step back toward the palace is a step that could complicate everything they have worked to build. So when we ask the question, is Harry genuinely trying to force Meghan back into the fold, we also have to ask the follow-up question, at what cost? And more importantly, whose idea is this really? Because here's a little nugget that the tabloids are conveniently glossing over. Reports suggest that Harry's push toward reconciliation is partly motivated by his children, Archie and Lilibet. The Duke reportedly wants his kids to have a relationship with their royal heritage, with their grandfather, the king, and yes, with Sandringham itself. That changes the entire conversation, does it not? Suddenly, this is not just about Harry and Meghan's marital politics or palace soap opera. This is a father trying to give his children roots, and that, right there, is the human core underneath all the royal drama. But, and there's always a but on this channel, the optics are still absolutely wild. Because here's what's actually happening in the background. The palace has not exactly rolled out the welcome mat. King Charles is dealing with his own health challenges and the immense pressure of leading the monarchy into a new era. William and Kate are firmly in their lane, building their own image as the future of the crown, and they are reportedly not thrilled about anything that could muddy those carefully crafted waters. So Harry is not just walking into a family reunion here, he's walking into a power structure that has already reorganized itself without him, and he wants to find a door that may have been bricked over. Now let's talk about Meghan's perspective, because this story does not work without her. Meghan Markle is not a passive character in anyone's narrative, and anyone who has been paying attention knows that. She's strategic, she's intelligent, and she doesn't make moves without thinking 10 steps ahead. So if there's any version of Meghan returning to any kind of royal adjacent space, you better believe she has conditions. Real conditions, not vague promises and handshakes in hallways. We're talking about formal acknowledgement, public respect, and probably something in writing, because the woman watched what happened when trust was extended without protection. She's not making that mistake twice. And that's exactly why Harry's so-called gamble is so fascinating to watch unfold. He's essentially caught between two worlds, the one he was born into and the one he chose. And rather than accept that those two worlds may be permanently incompatible, he's betting that love, whether family love, romantic love, or the deep-seated need for belonging, can somehow bridge a gap that politics, pride, and years of public warfare have made enormous. It's romantic in the most chaotic way possible, and it's either going to work beautifully or implode spectacularly. The Sandringham gamble also tells us something important about where Harry's head is right now. This is not the move of a man who has fully settled into his Montecito life and made peace with the distance. This is the move of someone who has unfinished business, someone who looks at the English countryside and old photographs and feels something he can't quite name. Nostalgia, regret, a desperate need for closure. Whatever it is, it's clearly driving decisions that look, from the outside, like an elaborate high-wire act with no safety net below. Here's the bottom line, and we're going to give it to you straight. Harry's Sandringham gamble is part family strategy, part emotional reckoning, and part calculated PR positioning, and it's all wrapped up in the impossible task of asking a woman who was pushed to her breaking point to give the institution that broke her another chance. Whether Meghan says yes, whether Charles softens, whether William and Kate stay out of it long enough for something real to happen, none of that is certain. What is certain is that this story is nowhere near over. The royal drama machine is fully operational, and Celebrity Watchgist will be right here watching every single move. Thank you so much for watching. It genuinely means everything. We'll see you in the next one.